Willie, finally the week's arrived because I know as a coach and from speaking to your players, it's hard to sort of focus on something like this game when you've got so many other distractions. So finally, being able to kind of lock on and take focus on a whole derby in the Challenge Cup is probably one thing that you've almost been looking forward to in the back of your mind, but you've had to kind of keep separate.
Yeah, absolutely. You always got a plan. As coaches, you need to plan ahead. But obviously to keep always focused on the next job, it's about your next training session or that game ahead. Obviously this week's Derby week, so great opportunity to talk about it and obviously prepare for what's going to be a special game and a special week for the city.
I guess already by the fact that you've got a joint press conference together, this isn't just your average derby, is it? It's a knockout derby. It's in the Challenge Cup, one of the most historic competitions. So is this like a derby almost like 2.0 in a way, because there is so much at stake?
Yeah, I mean every derby is a special occasion and you want to win, so this is no different. Obviously it's you need to get it right, because otherwise you're out of the cup if you lose. But you never go in any game, you never go in to lose. But obviously derbies, it doesn't matter where the team's sitting. The team could be on top of the table or at the bottom. It's still going to be a competitive, physical, aggressive game. The beauty of this week is you got first v second, on the Super League ladder. But that don't mean too much, because it's whoever loses is out. But what you will get is I believe is a high quality game. By 2 important teams.
Yeah, I mean, whilst your primary concern, and of course your desire is to win this tie, get through at all costs. It wouldn't matter whether there were 10 people there or 10,000, 20,000. But in terms of the City of Hull and for Rugby League, you can put on a big show this weekend, and you probably will, won't you? Because as you said, these two teams are really nicely matched. The fans have really bought into it. It should be a great occasion.
Yeah, there's no doubt. The atmosphere is going to be like, for me, I think it'll be like a Challenge Cup final, to be honest. Or semi-final, final. It's going to be electric. But it's a special game, as you said before. It's these two teams, we haven't played each other for a long time. The Challenge Cup, this part of the draw, and it's do or die. So there's a lot at stake. We know that. We're aware of that. Then you've got them in 2 weeks later, which is going to have just as high importance, even though it's for 2 points. They're always important. Winning derby games or winning any rugby league games is important. So for us, it's important that we narrow down our focus to we can control and our prep and getting that right, and not getting caught up in what the week's going to be about. And then more importantly, the day itself, it's going to be, as I said, electric atmosphere. So just need to make sure that we stay calm and composed, but obviously go after what we want to go after.
Obviously last year Hull had a nadir of a year, didn't they? It was a terrible season for them, and you were sort of flying high, got to a grand final. This year they look like they've kind of got their ducks in order a little bit. Do you think John Cartwright's done a decent job so far? Yeah,
he's done more than a decent job. I mean, I've known Carty a long time. We've worked together at Manly. He's a very good coach, great fella, and doing a wonderful job. They've recruited well. Obviously, they're still recruiting. They've got another player coming in this week. They're spending a lot of money in terms of getting some marquee players in and experienced players, which they needed to do. And now they've put themselves in a really strong position. There's no excuses from either team this week. It's about who performs the best on the day will get the result.
Yeah, and 2 strong ball clubs is good for Super League, isn't it? It's good, and thus the Challenge Cup as well.
Yeah, definitely. I was involved with the Rabbitohs and the Roosters, Rabbitohs. Sort of when they're doing well back in the NRL, the comps usually doing well, and very similar to here. We've got 2 teams in one city. But it's really good to see. It's great to see that both teams are doing well at the moment, and that's when both teams are doing well, it's usually a good indication. It's a strong competition. The comps are in a good place. So we're excited against the full.
It's only really interesting talking to people like Jared Warea-Hargreaves about their derby experiences and that Roosters Rabbitohs rivalry obviously there. But I think when players who come from Australia hear it, I guess, as much as see it for the first time, it hits them like a brick wall, doesn't it? Because the English atmospheres are there's something special about the whole derby in particular, because as you say, it's families divided and a city divided, and for a city to have a rugby league rivalry, this is the only one, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's 2 teams in one city. There's exactly what it is. 8 teams or something in Sydney. It's a healthy rivalry back in in Oz between the Roosters and Rabbitohs, but no atmosphere compares to this. Like it was just a normal club game when I first arrived. and it was like, we played the semi-final. I remember back in Oz, the last game of the Sydney Football Stadium at the time, and that atmosphere was outstanding. That was again the grand final, but it was on par, if not louder here. So that's how loud and vocal the crowds are. And obviously, Peter Verlandis, who runs the NRL, I don't think he got a taste or understood it until Vegas, and really appreciated what the English crowds are all about, and how passionate they are. And I, as I said before, this will be like a Challenge Cup final in terms of the atmosphere. We've got 3.5 going, and that 3.5 will be like 20.
Yeah, they're going to make some noise, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Your team has given them plenty of reason to make noise this year, haven't they? I guess as a coach, if you're looking at your performance indicators, you've probably improved as you've gone along. But right now, you look like you're hitting your straps. That must be, as a coach, just really good to see, because everything, you look like a lot of things that you're trying to do are coming off, and that's not luck, is it? That's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work from what they've done in the pre-season. They had a tough pre-season. We didn't have a friendly. That first game was against York, so that was a do or die in the Challenge Cup, so we needed to get that right. I thought we played reasonably well that game. They were up for York, and the game that we were off the most was the Castleford game, that first game. People talk about the second game, we had our halfback out, and I thought we actually played well against Wakefield, but we played against a very good team that were just back in the Super League in their first home game, so it was always going to be a challenge, and we got the points. And then we've gone on a bit of a run from there. We played Salford, and our best performance was obviously St Helens, I thought, and possibly Lee as well. I thought we played well against Lee, but when you say hit our straps, hopefully we're hitting, like you said, because you want to keep improving and keep getting better, because it's only round 6, and it's only the quarterfinals of the Challenge Cup. There's so much rugby to be played.
There's going to be some good battles on Saturday, aren't there? When you think of the front rowers, your starting front row strikes fear. Theirs is pretty big as well. You've got the battle of the outside backs, and you've got the two sets of halves. So where do you think this one might be won?
I think games are always won in the middle, majority of the time. But if it's tight, then obviously your halves are the ones that ice it. Big moments is your spine players that take it. Bevan French in the grand final is a perfect example of that. Like yesterday's game, I know the score blew out, but there was moments in that game that showed the class of Mikey Lewis. So that'll happen, but that'll happen later on in the game. It'll be won, in that middle third. Whoever wins that middle third will then allow the spine to be able to do their thing off the back of it. So forwards always win matches, and backs by how many?
In terms of the sort of Mikey Lewis effect, as you say, it's got a little bit going on in his personal life this week or so, hasn't it? But for him to be able to put all that to one side and concentrate on the game shows that he's maturing as a player as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Now he's going into the mid-20s now. He's not he's not young anymore. He's not a teenager. As I said, he's a young man these days, and I'm seeing a lot of growth in him. I'm seeing a person that that wants to get better every day. Both off on the field and off the field. He's about to become a father. It's the most special occasion you can ever have in your life. As much as we love rugby league, family is number one, and it always will be. And nothing compares to seeing your newborn baby for the first time. And we're looking forward to meeting Mike as a little man. And but like you said, he's shown how much mature, his growth and signs of maturity of being able to put things that that may have a reason to interfere with his game, and certainly at each other yesterday.
I guess as a group, it's a sort of extra little motivator, isn't it? We can give Mikey a really good week here. He could have a new son, and he could have a derby win in the Challenge Cup to go with it if we get our jobs done. I know it's not like going to be the be all and end all, but sometimes those little motivators can be quite powerful, can't they?
Yeah. There's plenty of motivators this week. None more than that. But obviously a motivator for me is our owner Neil Hudgell. I know what this club means to Neil. I know what a derby means to Neil, and I want our players to go out and do him proud, because every time he watches his team play, he's proud. But I'm sure he'd be even more proud this week to see us put in a really strong performance.
And when you've got such a core of Hull-born players, and I guess Hull FC have got that as well, haven't they? And I think that's what adds sometimes to the magic of this game is that it's not only being watched by people who really care, but it's being played by people who really care as well.
Yeah, it's to come over and say that you understand the whole derby straight away, you're lying. It's you hear about it, but it does. It takes a few years or really one game, but to understand what it's all about. But for these players and staff members that were born in Hull, have come through FC or come through KR, and that's what they are through and through. People like Alan Fellows, Bonesy, who's our kit man, Sue Thompson, people like that who are born and bred, and KR's been everything to them. They fully understand and embrace what a derby is about. We do as well embrace it, but in terms of true understanding of the derby and the grassroots of it, they've been part of it. So we draw to them. We draw, as I said, we draw to people like Neil Hudgell, or from people like Neil Hudgell, but we understand it. We know what we need to do to go out there this weekend and again do our community proud and do East Hull proud.
And personnel-wise, obviously I know you're only a day after a kind of bruising game against Huddersfield, but are you looking fairly kind of well stocked for the derby?
Yeah, I'm waiting on James Batchelor. He's got to get scanned, so he's probably the one at the moment that we need to find out. But yeah, I'll know more about him this afternoon or tonight, and then everyone else seems to be okay.
Does it say a lot about the kind of work you've done with the system and how players kind of integrate that? Artur Moore came in on yesterday and then had such a good game. He looked like he'd been playing with the lads for weeks.
Yeah, I mean the coaches do a great job. Staff do a great job. We needed to. It wasn't about Arthur coming in and just putting him in a session. We needed to prepare him, so a lot's been done in the background from a lot of people in our staff, and we try and be as professional as we can. So where someone like Arthur comes in, that he embraces what we're about and understands that every staff member's there to help him, because then we just want him to go out and do what he did yesterday and just be himself and and show East Hull people what he's about, and he certainly did that yesterday.
And lastly, in terms of the Challenge Cup, obviously 1980 it's the famous one, isn't it? 10-5, and Steve Hubbard scoring. I think he owns one of the bars on this strip, or at least he least used to. Have you tapped into any of that kind of sort of nostalgia value, or I guess will you be tapping into that? Because I guess there's a big week of preparation to come.
Yeah, I think where we're at the moment, so we'll always respect the past and respect what comes before us, and we understand what's come before us. And I think the players, from that '80s era, they're ready to hand the baton over, and they're ready to see these guys get some success and lift that trophy. So I think we need to look forward. When I say look forward, like it's about these players now going out and becoming legends themselves, and building a legacy for themselves now. We've got an opportunity because we're still in the cup, so and that's not taking anything away. We will always bring people in. We always respect the past, and we understand where we've come from, but it's about creating the future as well, and that's what these players are looking to do.
Go well, mate. Nice
Cheers,
one.
mate.
Chris, thanks very much.